code.
Oh,
to put on your head. Huh? Okay, sure. Language too, as the French people and the other speaking in English. So yeah, and you are from Turkey. From Turkey. And you speak English, so perfect. And so I will go from French to English to French to English. Try to make it.
已经有空了，小心地板滑。我更。
So you can just wait here, just not to show her because I will further the little too more.
Oh.
Just 1 minute, huh? We're back.
非常寒冷。
To show you how it is, we have the museum which is just here. On red here, this is the modern gallery that we built in 2005, just in order to make you able to visit the old galleries. Old galleries that are here in black, they are from the 16th century. 16th century, we're going to speak a lot about the 16th century because it was the richest time of the exploitation. We took a lot of silver this time, and also the longest time that we worked inside, 150 years. Yeah. Okay, so here I was saying that here we have a typical gallery from the 16th century. It is typical because it's super narrow. Yes. The reason is pretty easy. They only had like a chisel and a hammer, and they were doing all the job by hand. So no need to make it big. The only idea was to go as fast as possible, as efficient as possible. So no, we don't use that. Here you can see the rail here. That was for the little wagon that we were pushing. They were calling it dogs, like the dog, because of the noise of the wheel on the rail, which is like walk. Yeah. So now we're gonna go a bit further, but I wanted to make a point also a difference between a coal mine and a silver mine. In a coal mine, you are going deep down in the earth, and then you are exploiting it horizontal. Here it's different. We are not going under the earth. We are going in the mountain, and then the vein will be vertical. We're gonna get to it, take the silver inside, then dig a well, and another gallery, and a well, and another gallery, and so on, in order to follow the vein. Yes? Good? Yes. We're gonna go a bit further. So in English now, we're gonna speak about the different jobs that are in the mine to better understand how it works inside. So here, for example, we have les décombreurs. The décombreurs, they are the guys who are doing the vertical physical job to carry the stone all day long. They do not have a special competence or special skills looking for the vein to find the silver, but they are strong. That they need to be, or they will carry stone the whole day. Yeah. Another point, they have these little lamps. These are grease lamp. It's all what we have at this time. It's the grease from the pork that we will use with about 80 grams. They could have light for about 8 hours. Yeah. So that was 8 hours, that was a normal day in the mine here in the 16th century. Yeah? So now we're gonna go inside, and you will see that it's pretty nicely done on the left side, because they did it with a chisel and the hammer with the hands. And on the right side, you will see that it's a little bit bigger. The reason is that at the very end of the 19th century, there was a company that came here with the idea to find some silver. They had bigger machine that they had to bring inside, so they had to enlarge the galleries, and of course they had to grind it, and it was easier to dig it on the right side of the dynamite. Yeah? Alors ce que je disais aussi, c'est que maintenant on va rentrer dans la galerie. Alors. Ouais, partie sûr. 90% d'humidité dans l'air. So here you enter in the small machine room. Small machine room from the end of the 19th century. We are not going to speak about this 19th century now, as we're going to speak about it a bit later. Now, what is really interesting here is the well that is just in front of you. It's a well full of water. Okay? So, and that should not be normal, because the well that we dig here, as I said just before, they are here in order to go to the galleries that are under and to bring up the stone and the silver that we find. Yeah. So with water that wouldn't be easy or possible. The reason we let this water inside the well is that just to make you understand that water is a big deal when we are doing an exploitation in the mountain. As every time we are emptying the mountain, every time we are digging inside the mountain, the water is coming from the breaks that we have, the faults that we have in the mountains inside, the water from the rain, from the melting snow, and that comes all the time, all the day long. So to give you an example, this well, we emptied it 5 years ago just to see how fast it would get full again, naturally. It took 3 days. It is 17 meters deep. So that gives you an idea on how every day it's a daily job that you have to take the water outside. Oh. Yeah. So before the 16th century, we had no technique, no skills to take so much water outside. But from the 16th, we invented the water pump, and we could pump with the arm. Arm pump, that would mean that people would pump all day long to take that water outside. Yeah. So that was the first big deal in exploiting a mountain, and that was solved. And a bit later, we're going to speak about another problem, and that was breathing. Yeah. Alors, en français. Okay, so here I wanted to show you, we have a fault. When I say fault, is that clear for everyone? Fault? It's a break. A break in the mountain, yeah? Or let's say break, okay? So here we have a break. If you see on my lamp, from here and all the way, if you follow my lamp, you will see this is a break. When this happened million years before, it was like a break is between 2 millimeters to meters large. What happens is first that the gneiss, this stone, gets prisoner inside and fragmented in a lot of little pieces of stone. Right? Second consequence is that the water is coming inside this break and making it even smoother. So basically, if I'm doing like that, you will see that it falls quite easily. It's easier to dig in the direction of this break, right? So for our miner, it was easier working this direction. Second point, the vein with the silver inside, that comes from under our feet. We have this hydrothermal water, very warm water, that comes with a lot of different minerals that are on the way in the crust. And you have to know that at a certain temperature, certain pressure and certain altitude, this can crystallize. And when it crystallizes, these minerals are like solid, yeah, inside a break. In Sainte-Marie, we have a combination of temperature, pressure, and altitude that makes it possible to have a crystallization of silver. Yeah. So the only idea now is just to follow the break and to find this vein. Yeah. Alors, en français, donc ce que vous... Ça va être plus là, on va parler de ce qu'il y a derrière moi. Et ici, il fait beaucoup plus frais. Alors oui, il fait frais, mais si on a trop froid, on met une petite laine en plus. Et quand vous êtes dans une mine à 45 degrés, je suis pour coucher. Ah bah il n'y a plus rien à faire, hein, ouais, c'est clair. On transpire 6 litres d'eau par jour, on fait des malaises, on a du mal. Can you hear me? Yeah. So I said just before we had a major problem to breathe inside the mine, as when you dig like about 20 meters, it's no more possible to have oxygen inside, right? So what they invented is like this structure, this wooden structure. You have to imagine that it goes all the way at the end of the gallery where the guys are digging, right? Over there, it's open, so the air can pass by. And here behind, you have to imagine that we close it here, and directly perpendicular, we dig a well just to bring air inside. Right? So what happens? Here it's 10 degrees all year long. When it's warmer outside, the fresh air, as it's heavier, is going all the way outside and down in the valley. And doing that, it's attracting the warm air inside the well. The warm air is then going all the way at the end of the gallery. And as it's fresher inside here, this warm air is getting fresher, so heavier, and it's going down and down in the valley again. Yeah, so we have like a natural circulation, air circulation, and in the winter time it's just going the other way around. The warm air inside here is going outside. Yeah, so now we do not have a problem with the water, we do not have any problem with the air. So let's go further in order to find this vein. Yeah, c'est parti. And now we're gonna walk inside a 16th century gallery. Yeah. C'est parti. Alors maintenant, on va avoir un petit peu de marche. Entry gallery, there is no danger, it's about 10 meters. And so you can really experience what it was to be a miner in the 16th century. Yeah? And for those who don't feel it or don't feel well with that, you can join me directly at the other way without going through this very narrow gallery. Yeah? Okay. You have a question over there? No, no. No? Fine? Ok, so you can go, vous pouvez y aller.
Nice.
Pretty narrow. So the idea of this experience is, it's okay, it's a bit funny, it's interesting, but it's also to imagine that when you were a miner in the 16th century, you would work inside for about 8 hours non-stop. And that's the only environment that you would have, nothing else. Here it has been enlarged in the 19th century again, so 16 you are just inside this. Yeah. So now we're gonna go a bit further, and I will explain you how they were digging in the 16th century, how they were working inside. Yes. C'est parti. Let's go. Allez, on y va. Inside, because we're gonna speak about this. You want to go inside? You want to climb? Yes. If you want, yeah, sure. Alors ouais, jetez un œil dans cette galerie, on va en parler un peu plus en détail. You can have a look inside.
Scary, huh?
So now we're gonna speak about that. Huh? So this is typical. We went just through with one difference. It's on two level, right? It's like half a gallery. Yeah. To help you a little bit, they were working 2 persons to dig it. One was working here in the front, and another one was working at the end there. Yeah. So, in your opinion, how they were working? What was the position? Quelle était leur position du coup pour also to dig? You can see they have these little pikes. They are chisel, they have on the shoulder. They have 10 or 12. The reason is because it will get broken with the time, as the metal that we are producing in the 16th century was not that strong at the time, and the stone we were working on was super strong. So they would get damaged, and they would have to change every 40 or 50 minutes, right? So now, in your opinion, in one day of work, 8 hours working, 2 men, how big is the progress for one day? D'après vous, 2 personnes, 8 heures, on avance de combien par... 1 meter. 1 mètre? Ok. Monsieur a raison, vous aussi 5 cm. It's between 2 cm and 20 cm. Entre 2 cm et 20 cm for a good day. Yes, every day. That gives you an idea. Yeah. How long is the job, hein? Ouais, c'est un jour, ouais. Sacré boulot. Puis la satisfaction au travail, à la fin de la journée, quand on a fait 20 cm, c'est pas extraordinaire. Okay, so that's all give you a bit an idea. So just to finish on these guys, I wanted to tell you also that these guys, they have very skillful, they have a lot of competencies, and they are the most important person inside the mine. They have a very, very good salary. the reason all the responsibility of the success of this job is on their shoulder. Yeah. So we have to pay them a lot to bring them inside, and they don't come from the region. We have to take them from other region, and these guys, they come from Tyrol and Saxon region in Germany, so let's say hundreds of kilometers far from here. And the reason is because in this region they already had a very important experience in mining. They knew how to read the stone, if I can say.
Okay.
Yeah, so they really had this competence of finding the vein, to find the silver. Yeah. Alors, ce que j'étais en train de dire. Just have a look on the top. You will see some new minerals. Here we have like a quartz and chalcopyrite, and these are like advices and things that can help our miner to understand that we are on the direction of the vein. Yes. Alors, on va aller un peu plus loin ici. On est dans la salle du filon. We are in this space where it was the vein. I'm saying it was, and you won't see the vein today, as they took everything. Of course, in the 16th century, the value of the silver was at its highest in the world history. Silver was more precious than gold in the 16th century, so they took absolutely everything. So, but normally in the region we find silver with lead or with copper. That's the normal way, and then you have to separate it, to sort it, and to melt it to get the metal. But here in the region, they found in the middle of the 16th century this whole piece of 90 kilograms of pure silver. Yeah. And from this time, everyone in Europe knew that here we found this huge piece of silver, and from this time we could call these guys from the Saxon and the Tyrol region in order to come, because everyone knew that we had this big discovery, and they knew that they would find more and more, and that they would get a good salary, a good life condition here in the region. Yeah. So just to give you an idea, here it's a 10 meters deep place where we had this silver, but you have to imagine that this vein is going up to 150 meters more, and it's going 100 meters down as well. And all this has been emptied, taken in the 16th century by hand. Yeah? And now we are doing these climbing tours behind the mountains. You can go all the way down, following where was the vein. It's just crazy how huge it is. And veins like that, we have like dozens and dozens of veins in the whole valley here. Yeah? So now we're gonna go a bit further and tell you what happened in the very end of the 19th century. Yeah? Alors on va passer about what happened here in the very end of the 19th century. In 1879 came a company here with this pretty good idea that they would maybe find the rest of the silver inside. So they were digging here directly. They dug a well, 100-meter well. Here you can only see 12 meters, as now it's totally overflowing, full of water. Yes, but at the time they went totally at the end, 100 meters deeper, and they found the vein, and they found the silver. The problem is that the percentage of silver in the vein was so poor, so little, that it was just it was a nonsense, economically a nonsense to continue. Yeah, not rentable, and bankrupt of the company, end of the story. We closed the mine in 1905, and it's the end of the adventure of silver in the whole region. Yeah. So this is not to make fun of the guys in the 19th century, saying that they were too pretentious or too naive. It's more to show how great was the job from the guys in the 16th century, who already knew and understood that this was the end of the story. So now we're gonna go a bit further there. On va aller plus loin par là-bas. C'est la dernière fois que... This wagon, this dog, as we say here, it's from the end, the last period of exploitation. It's pretty heavy, but we were not using animals inside here, no horses, for example, as it was too complicated to bring them down, because they were using this kind of, they were using horses to carry the wagon in the coal mines, in the salt mine, for example, as it was very big and that the vein was super long. Here, no use of animal, they were all pushing it by hand. Yeah. So, 1905, I told you, we closed the silver mine, end of the story for the silver searching. But from this time, we started to look for copper, lead, cobalt, and arsenic, as we had many of these minerals in the ground here, and all these exploitation had finished totally in the start of the Second World War in 1940, and then we never started again. So that was really on the last period of exploitation, and now we're gonna go at the end there to speak again more about the 16th century. Parti alors, on va repartir là-bas tout au... So here, this last picture that shows us very good how it was done with this well, these galleries and well and galleries, all this connection, this network of how they were working. You see the different jobs that we went through during this tour. The miner picker, the guys who are digging in the front, the décombreur, the guys who are carrying the stone, the winch turner and the pusher here. But you also have to consider that there were many other jobs outside. I was telling you about 3,000 guys working here as miner picker, diggers, so in the front. But you really have to consider that all these people behind are many, because here there were 3,000, but total in the valley we were about 35,000 inhabitants in the same time, suddenly in the 16th century. Yeah. So because we had all blacksmiths, we had these carpenters, very useful also when you had to exploit the vein on several, like 100 meters deep. You had to make several different like floors, wooden floors. So all these people, they came all together, and that was a lot for the landlord here, the seigneur of Ribeaupierre, and he had to give the authority to a judge, the judge of the mine, who would be responsible for all these people. In terms of the administration, the concession, you know, because everyone would have a concession, a part of the mine where they have the right to work. Then to be like police when there were the conflicts between two concessions, and all this, so let's say police administration, and then also it was here to make sure that all the conditions, job condition were respected. When I'm saying that, I'm thinking about the 8 hours per day, 6 days per week. That's not a lot for the time when in the 16th century you would work way more than only 8 hours in a day. You would not have necessarily a 1 day break in a week. So all these conditions, that was very important, because that was bringing people to work inside here in the mine. Yeah. And just to finish, they would even create at this time like a social security. That means that every miner would give a percentage of his salary to finance this social care system. And if you would die in the mine, your widow would have like a money support. If you cannot work because you hurt in the mine, you will have some money. They built a school in the time with all these people coming. They built it with the money from this social care system. They pay the teacher with this money. So all that to show you how in the 16th century we already are like in a modern society. A new social organization, a new working organization that came 250 years later in England in the 18th century with the Industrial Revolution. So we can easily say that this was like one of the first industrial worlds in Europe and in the world in the 16th century. Yeah. Alors, Alors, les classes,